Right, so welcome back to our channel, guys, and today's video is all to do with petrol budget chainsaws.
The entry-level range. So perhaps you're a homeowner or a domestic user and you're looking for a saw for around the garden, or perhaps you've had a tree recently come down in some storms. Now, you might not be ready to go and venture into the battery world. You want to stay true to tradition of chainsaws and stay with the petrol equivalents.
Proper gasoline.
Or gasoline.
Now, on about gasoline, we've actually got some Alkylate fuel supplied by Aspen, so we just want to say thank you to them for supporting the channel and supplying the fuel to go into our saws.
So today we are going to put them through the tests, put them through some timber, obviously, check out the specs, check out the weights and see what you get for your money. Now, it's not a true comparison video because they're not exactly like for like on CCs, but it's just to show you what is available on the market. So although these saws are very different, let's check out the specs to see what we've got. And first up, we have the Stihl MS162. Comes with a 12-inch, 30-centimetre guide bar and chain. The engine is a 30.1 cc with a power of 1.2 kilowatts. The chain is a 3/8 Pico 1.1 millimetre. It has a domestic warranty of 2 years and has a recommended retail price of £169, including the VAT.
Next up is the Mitox 270 CSX. This also has a 12-inch 30cm guide bar. The engine is 25cc with a 0.9 kilowatt rating. The chain is a 3/8 low profile 1.3mm. It comes with 5-year warranty and retails at £219, including the VAT.
And the Stiga is an SP386, comes with a 14-inch 35cm guide bar. The engine is a 38.5cc and is rated to 1.6 kilowatts. Fitted with a 3/8 chain, which is 1.3mm, has a domestic warranty of 5 years and a retail price of £179, including the VAT.
Last up, we have the SGS SPC45. This is fitted with a 15-inch 38cm guide bar. The engine is 45cc, producing 1.6 kilowatts of power. This saw has a 0.325 1.5mm chain, comes with 12 months warranty and retails at £129, including the VAT. So when purchasing a chainsaw, there is a number of factors you'll want to consider, and we will discuss these later in the video. But the first consideration we will look at is the weight of the saws. So let's hang them up and check them out. Stihl's up first, and it weighs in at 5.6 kilos. And next up we got the Mitox, and the Mitox weighs in at 3.6 kilos. And now we've got the Stiga, and the Stiga weighs in at 6.2 kilos. And last but no means least, we got the SGS, and that weighs in at 7.1 kilos. So the SGS is heaviest, the Mitox is lightest.
So Jeeves has showed you the weights. Now I'm going to show you how easy they are to start, or perhaps not so easy. It's about 5 degrees out here today, so it's going to be a true test of how easy they are to start. And I'll talk you through each one of how to do it. Right, the MS162 first. Now, Stihl is quite simple with regards to how they work their trigger system and how their starting operation is. You just hold in your triggers and then push that one all the way down to the bottom. Then put your brake on, pop it between your legs and start it. Right, earmuffs, PPE, all that safety stuff first. Right, let's count how many pulls it takes. 1, 2, ho 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 ho! We'll just flick the choke off that one click. And we're away. Pull the brake in. And let the saw idle. 2 pulls to start. No, 3 pulls to start. So the Mitox. Now, on this one, you've actually got a priming bulb. So you've got to press the priming bulb in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now that purges the system, so it pushes the fuel through into the carburettor, so it's all ready to start. Now you've got a button on the back and the choke on the side. Push that choke lever all the way up round to the top. On with the brake, between your legs. 1. Off with the choke. 2. There we go. Now for the Stiga SP386. Now, very similar to the Mitox, it has a priming bulb. So you've got 1, 2, 3 on the priming bulb. You have an on and off switch, is automatically retractable. Choke on the side, which this one you turn up round, like so. Brake on, in between your legs. 1, 2, off with the choke. 4. I probably flooded it a bit then, but it happens. Now time for the beautiful blue SGS SPC45. Now on this one, again, you've got a priming bulb, so you can prime it through. 1, 2, 3. Pull the choke out on this one, make sure it's in start, brake on, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the choke's gone in now. Why has that gone in? Try that again. There we go. Choke in, start. And there we have it. So I was very impressed with the Mitox and the Stihl of how quickly they started. Now, the Mitox did take a little bit more warming up, so I think that would just take a little bit longer, whereas the Stihl was pretty much ready to get going. Now, on the SGS, when I started that, as I lifted it up and put it between my legs, I actually pushed the choke back in again. Now, it might be better with this design to start it on the floor, where you put your foot on it and start it like so. Now, the Stiga, I'm not sure why that didn't quite start as quickly as the others, and it flooded a little bit. Now, if you do get a flood, you can just turn the choke off and keep pulling until it will fire. Now, or you could leave it for a little bit of time and then come back to it later.
Now, there's nothing worse than having a noisy neighbour, or perhaps you love the sound of a hard revving two-stroke engine. Well, in this test, we're going to test a decibel reading and see what they come out with. So we got a decibel reading of 100.9. So we got a decibel reading of 104.7. Decibel reading 104.1. 103.9. Right, so if you don't want to wake the neighbours, get yourself a Stihl, but if you like a little screamer, then it's the Mitox. Let's go and see what Parker's up to.
So now on to one of the tests that you've been waiting for, and that is a cutting test. So here we have a 12-inch piece of spruce. And let me tell you, it's only just going to fit through with the Stihl on the 12-inch bar. So let's do one cut down through on each and time it. Now time for something smaller.
So there we have it, you've seen the saws in operation.
And now we're going to run through the 5 things that you should definitely consider before buying a new domestic chainsaw.
Now the first thing I would consider would be the weight of the saw. How easy is it to operate and use?
Yeah, obviously Josh tested the weights of these 4 saws, but our advice is to, which leads us into number 2 point as well, is to go into your local dealer and actually pick up the saw, feel it, because it's not just regards to how heavy it feels straight away. But once you've used that saw for, 10, 15 minutes, you think, oh, your arms are going to start to ache. And that's where I think the Mitox in these, in this lineup we've got here makes a massive difference, because it has been designed to be a lighter weight domestic saw for that market.
Definitely so. The other thing would be starting, wouldn't it?
Yes.
How easy it is to start. I mean,
is.
if you don't feel confident, or you don't find it very easy to start a standard 2-stroke machine, some of these chainsaws do come with an easy start recoil assembly.
Yes, they do.
So you want to get advice on that and how easy it is to.
Obviously I showed you these 4 saws, but again, pop into your dealer and ask them, would it be possible to fuel up a saw and see how easy it is to start? When we were a dealer, that's exactly what we would have done for customers ourselves.
Now the next thing would be spare parts. All brands are different. They will carry a multitude of spare parts on the shelf, but when it gets down to it, can you get those spare parts several years down the line?
That's right, exactly. Obviously, we know, Stihl is a fantastic example of someone who supplies a great range of spare parts, and they do for many years once they've made a chainsaw. With other brands, that Mitox, we know they've got a good spare parts backup. Stiga, they've got a good parts backup. SGS, that sort of more budget end of the market, is something I'd say you definitely need to check with the manufacturer before buying.
Now, next thing would be features. What do you need the saw for?
Yeah, but do you need a big bar? Now, a lot of people think that you need if you've got a 30-inch tree, you need a 30-inch chainsaw to be able to cut that tree, when theoretically, because there's no limitation on the end of your bar, you could actually cut a 30-inch tree with a 15-inch bar. Now, it wouldn't be that easy, but that's probably exaggerating a little bit. But say if you had a 20-inch tree, you don't need a 20-inch bar. You could do that with a 15-inch or a 14-inch bar very, very easily.
And another feature would be a primer bulb.
Yes.
If you find that you just want to pull it 1 or 2 times to get the thing started, even though the Stihl actually did start fairly easy without a primer.
It did, yeah. Obviously, the other 3 have got priming bulbs, whereas the Stihl hasn't. So again, but Stihl do make models where you can have a priming bulb on it.
Another big feature would be warranty. Think about the warranty of each saw. So these all vary from 2 years up to 5, but what does the warranty actually cover, and how do you have to, should we say, service it or maintain the saw to actually upkeep that warranty?
Do you have to have it serviced every 12 months for a 5-year warranty, or do you just have a full 5-year warranty? It's definitely one thing worth checking.
And then the last thing would be price. There's nothing worse. Yes, we all like to get a bargain and we like to spend as little as possible, but would it be better to just spend a little bit more and know what you're getting and getting a saw that will actually do the job?
Now, we'd like your help, because we'd like you to comment below with what saw you have and what experience you have with it, because it then give everyone else watching this video as much information as possible when choosing their chainsaw.
Now let's go through these saws and tell you our likes and dislikes about each model.
So likes and dislikes on a Stihl MS162, Josh.
Right, let's start off with a dislike. My dislike would be the top cover. How easy it is to gain access to your air filter. You've got to have a Torx bit or a flathead screwdriver to get in. No quick flip cap.
Yep, good point. Now, mine would be plastic dogging teeth on the front. So if you want to put your saw into the timber and give it a little bit more leverage, the plastic dogging teeth, we do know, wear out quite quickly on these saws.
Yeah, they've got decent oil and fuel caps on here.
They do.
Easy to get off. Certainly easier than the quick flip caps that they have on some of their other models.
Yes, on the larger models, you get a bit of a fiddly cap, and some people do struggle with that, whereas this is just a nice simple thread. Now, a like that I do love about Stihl saws is the spare parts backup. It is phenomenal. It'd be the probably industry leading spare parts backup from Stihl chainsaws.
And the build quality, you know what you're getting with Stihl.
Yeah, you do, exactly. But obviously the things we've mentioned here on other Stihl models, then they do get better as you go up through the range.
Right then, likes and dislikes on the Mitox.
Now, I'm going to start with likes, because the thing I love about a saw is how light it is. It is just so easy to use. Now, it is only 25cc, so it was the slowest cutting in the videos we've done today, but that doesn't make a difference. That weight changes everything for someone who's looking for a lighter saw.
It's very ergonomic to use as well.
It is.
Rear handle, your hand, James will demo it there, goes right in the back, and it's so nice to use, so comfortable.
Sits nicely,
yeah.
It does. Yeah. Now, another like I really like is that obviously with the Stihl you had to have a tool to get into the air filter. With this one, it's just a quick flip up cap and in you go to be able to clean that out.
Yeah. What about dislikes? I would say fuel and oil caps being so close together.
Yes, yeah, so on those fuel oil caps, and to be fair, when we filled it up at the beginning of this test, we had to use a screwdriver to open them. Even with gloves on, anything, you just cannot, there's not a great deal to hold on to. But Mitox have been around probably, what, 15 years? Yeah. Probably in the market, and they've strived well. They've got good parts backup and availability. They're a great company behind them in the UK. So yeah, quite happy. So likes on the Stiga then, Josh.
And there is a lot to like about the Stiga.
It's a nice little saw.
It is. Right, first up, I would say that alloy crankcase. It's metal, not plastic.
Could be a little bit heavier or lighter, so it could be a toss-up between the two, but yeah, definitely a good feature. Now, it has got 2 bar studs holding the bar on, which is a more traditional way of doing things. There's a lot of saws now which only have 1 bar stud, but I do like the 2 bar stud thing. But the one thing I really don't like about the saw, I'd say, is the ergonomics. Now, when using a saw, you're using it away, but your handles seem too close to each other. Now, having that a little bit further apart, that handle just to be back here slightly, just if you do get a kickback, it's nice to have that little bit more leverage, I guess you'd call it, to be able to control it. Now, I just find them a little bit too close, but that might just be a personal preference for me.
Yeah, I might be nitpicking a little bit with it, but having the choke lever so close to your pull start just feels a little bit vulnerable that you might catch it and snap that off.
Yeah, Stiga have got a good dealer network nationwide with a great backup behind it as well. Oh yes, one more like. Now that is the chainsaw spanner, but not just any chainsaw spanner. It's got somewhere to keep it on the saw. Now there's a few other saws that do this now, but I think every saw on the market should have somewhere to keep the spanner, so you've always got it with you rather than stabbing your leg in your pocket.
Now SGS dislikes, James.
Dislikes. Now, I'm going to start with a like, and that is the price. It is the most cost-effective saw we've got here in this lineup today, and there are many similar to this on the market. Now, obviously, with a budget, you get probably a few more dislikes than you would in upper range. So, like that choke lever, for instance, just in an awkward place if you start up between your legs. So that could just be doing a different place. The other dislike I've got is the ergonomics of that brake lever to be able to put the brake on. You've really got to push your hand right round over. But I guess that's what you get from a more budget saw.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll let you do the likes, Josh.
Okay, well, I've got another dislike, actually.
Oh, you've got another dislike, right, okay.
Right, so my only dislike would be the size of that chain. It's nice to have a big beefy chain on there, 1.5 mil.
Yeah, so 1.5 mil chain would generally be found on professional saws in the sort of 50cc category and above. Yeah,
but I would say if you put a 1.3 mil 325 chain on there, it would perform better and cut quicker than having a slightly thicker chain in.
Yeah.
Likes.
Recoil starter. It does have an easy start. Now, when I started it as I would normally, but it does have an easy start on it. You can just pull out and it automatically goes back and starts itself. So it's much easier for a domestic user.
And for a 45cc chainsaw, it makes a hell of a lot easier.
It does, because it's a lot to pull over, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Top cap?
Top cap, easy flip off top cap to get to the air filter. Nice, like that. But yeah, it all boils down to the price, doesn't it? I think the price is the biggest winner on this chainsaw.
So there we go, we've looked at all 4 saws, but what we want to know from you guys is what you think a future video should be. So we were thinking ourselves we could do pro versus domestic and actually show you the difference between what you get with a pro saw and what you get with domestic.
And why would you buy one or the other and make a decision hopefully from that. So let us know in the comments below. Now, my biggest question I've got today though is these are small domestic chainsaws. How long are they going to be on the market? Because battery is coming on leaps and bounds. There are battery saws that will outperform these now in the domestic setting. So yeah, what's your thoughts on keeping petrol or going battery as well?
So in Machinery Nation, we bring you product videos every week all about tools and machinery. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheerio.